haul. Oh, wow. You know what? I thought of something. I forgot some. I'm going to be right back because I got to show you all. I'll get everybody's ass in here. Get everybody's ass in here. So, hold up. What good are these things if you can't use them? What good are things if you can't use them? Right? Fuck, man. This sucks. Or whatever. Deal with it. Deal with it. This is what's up, man. I'm gonna put this microphone on and test this out because you guys think, put that on there like that. I'm gonna give this a shot. And then we're gonna talk about, just let me know if you can hear me. Do me a favor and just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. If you can hear me, just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, you can't hear me, you can't hear me. All right, cool. So you can hear me, good. Word up. Okay, I appreciate that. The question, I have no, I've had people ask me if I was going to compete ever again because, you know, they see the old videos and the photos of me. And I really didn't go into a whole lot of detail of, you know, why did I stop competing at all? And we've been talking a lot about recovery lately and talking about, you know, losing weight and being honest and, you know, trying to get our shit together. Because even I, on a daily, I have to try and get my shit together. So I want to ask you a question real quick. I'm going to ask about the microphone. Does it sound robust? Does it sound crappy? Because if it sounds crappy, I'm going to take it out. Because I don't want anything to sound crappy. So if it sounds good, like it sounds like a decent microphone, do me a favor and hit the 1. If it sounds like I got Sparkomatic speakers from a 1982 Datsun I'm singing out of, perfect. The reason why this is important is this is like this would be called motorcycle hour, I guess. Harm reduction. Harm reduction from coughing, which, by the way, is a side effect if you do certain types of steroids. Some of the most effective steroids have the most profound side effects that if you do them and you're not educated enough on knowing what medicines to take to come off of those said medicines. These are all medicines, by the way. These are all legal over-the-counter medicines. And then there's veterinarian, which is also legal over-the-counter. So I'm going to talk about both because a lot of guys get caught up in bad stuff. Not caught up in a criminal way, but caught up in a really bad physiological way. There's certain steroids that I have known to take and they work great for me, and there's other ones that if you knew me personally and you talked to me on a regular basis, you would not want to be around me because it had such a profound just and just unbelievable effect on me psychologically. And for anyone who has any kind of mental illness of any kind, depression or anxiety, or maybe you're special, you could see the future, then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. The more I drank coffee in the military as a young guy, the more the people around me I noticed drank coffee. I also noticed that, we move in packs. We don't live together, but we sort of represent each other indirectly. It's almost like we're connected, but not. It's like if we work in the same office or whatever, and at the end of the day, you go home to your house, so to speak. That is the sort of network of connections that men need in order to be able to become healthier, better people. Now, I'm not endorsing anybody do steroids at all. It gave me a bad time. It gave me a good time. This question is a two-edged sword. Are you willing to take the risk? And if you are, then go see a doctor, because you can go to a doctor and they'll give you everything you want. So it's that simple. What I'm talking about is stuff that if I was to compete, this is the stuff that in the past bodybuilders did and used daily or weekly or whatever by certain milligrams up to a certain point. These are all pharmaceutical grade things that come from a pharmacy. These aren't like something that people have brewed up in their bathrooms, but legit medicine that their doctor prescribed, because bodybuilders from the 80s all went to a doctor and they all had prescriptions for everything, because that's how Joe Weider operated his operation for the Olympia. And so, well, first things first, let me just show you that I was in the Olympia. I got 4th place in Mr. Colombia. I got 1st place in Mr. Ecuador. I got 1st place in, that one is not, this is actually 3rd. This is 3rd place in one of the many Mr. Mexicos I competed in. See, they always do that. They put the flag. You see that? See that flag? That's from Mexico. I've got a couple of trophies downstairs. Those are both 1st places for Mr. Mexico and for my category, which was men's, and then it was masters. If you're over 40 years old, you compete in masters. Now I'm over 50. I think they call that super masters. And you're competing against literally the old guys. So this is why I ask myself, it's going to be fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love getting in shape and I love working out. I love the gym culture. And I love seeing dudes, get bigger in the gym and it's like, whoa, just huge. Also, the diet is something that a lot of dudes struggle with. I have no problem whatsoever not eating anything. So dieting is actually a problem for me now. Excuse me. Since I've been intermittent fasting, I've lost 60 pounds. I'm now getting muscle back after having lost so much weight. If you could see in my face, you could see it in my face. It actually looks like I'm getting ready for a show, because this entire year I've been intermittent fasting and it sucks the fat off your face. And people look at me and they're like, dude, you look strung out, like I'm on drugs or something. So anytime I do like bodybuilding shows, you have to prepare for months and months and months in advance. Every single day that you wake up, you go up and you do, oh, happy Father's Day to you. You have to get up every day and you do 40 minutes of cardio every single day on a treadmill. Really, the only way to do the treadmill is by walking. You don't run, and this is the trick. You put the treadmill on a 15% incline, and then you put it at a slow rate, a slow pace, so you can just cruise along, and you're going to walk one foot in front of the other. And you can do that for 40 minutes every day. And what's going to happen is in a couple of weeks is you'll start to get peeled. You'll start to get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. It took me like 45 days to prepare for the Mr. Olympia, and I actually got too skinny. And I actually lost the size of my legs getting ready for that show, because I had never you know, I was getting ready for like the next level, because you fuck around in the amateur world and, you know, you got amateur level, you know, local contests. And then when you won those, then you go to this next level where you're getting ready to go pro. And if you win the overall in a bodybuilding show and you win the overall, you get your pro card. And that's where shit gets real, because we're talking about dudes and women that have literally, you know, gone all in. Like all in. I don't care if it's bikini, I don't care if it's fitness, I do not care. It is all in bodybuilding when it comes to pro level. Reason is because if you win a pro show in the US, you guys, all you need to do is look up the prize money on Google for the Olympia. I don't need to explain it to you, but let's just put it this way. I think the lowest prize for third place in the women's division is like $3,000. First place overall division in the overall at the end of a bodybuilding show for the Olympia is over $1 million. In Europe, back in my day, there were these little shows that were like not national level, but they paid like 30,000 euros. And I was like, holy shit. And I would see these dudes that came, and I competed in Oklahoma. I won first place in the men's, and I won second place in the masters. And I had a trainer and had everything I needed. And it was the first time I've been in the States in years. I was totally just emaciated from, I had got fourth in Mr. Columbia, and then I flew up to Oklahoma to compete in the Ibarra Nationals, I think it was. But it was the first time I had been to Oklahoma. That's where I met my friend who is from this town where I am now in Mexico. So it was because of him. When I saw him in Oklahoma and I said, yeah, man, I'm living in Colombia. And he's like, well, we do bodybuilding shows all over Mexico. So you want, you come visit, I'll show you around. So I did, I took him up on it. And I had never been to Mexico. I went to the airport, I was terrified. I took the bus to, I was supposed to go, this is what I was doing. I was in Mexico City. And I wanted to check out Mexico City. They had all these like buffets and stuff, and art things, and you know, you guys like antiquity and stuff like that. But I am a big fan of AAA wrestling. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like the WWE of Mexico. I became friends with the WWE of Mexico wrestlers. And I came in, I was already 235 pounds shredded, guys. And so when I came in, I'm wearing these like bright orange glasses with mirrors on them. My hair is blonde and it's sticking up like Dragon Ball Z or whatever. And I meet the old school generation of wrestlers from Mexico, the old mask wrestlers. So one of my guys that I met first, his name was Super Astro. Now I knew Super Astro from social media when like Facebook first came out. We were talking about like 2008 or 7, and Super Astro had retired from wrestling, and he had all of his masks in this restaurant in the center of Mexico City. So I said, one day I'm gonna go and visit. And he's like, okay, Widow. He was so welcoming to me that I was just, I went to his restaurant. We put masks on, we took a video, we did just made jokes. I didn't understand how much Spanish at the time, and he did not speak English, obviously. And so we got along famously. And he offered me to go and visit AAA, which is the WWE, and meet all of the trainers and all of the hustlers and the starfuckers and all that shit, because they wanted me to go and try out for AAA. And I was like, yes, this is like a dream come true. Because if you had a chance to go into the WWE superstars tomorrow, you'd be like, fuck yeah. You may be out of shape, it won't matter. But I was shredded, guys. Shredded. Like below easily 6% body fat. And that is post contest, because after the contest, you really get big because you're so dehydrated during the show that you probably gain 10 pounds immediately after the show when you drink water. So I'm going to this, like, in the middle of freaking nowhere, Mexico City. I think it was actually in a decent area. It's just that I wasn't used to seeing how the layout of, you know, Mexico City was. And here I am, this, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed white boy with black wife and 2 kids in tow in a taxi going to the middle of friggin' nowhere, Mexico, to go meet up with wrestlers. And as you would think, cocky, you know, juiced up guys, probably doing cocaine, and, you know, I don't know anything about these guys. I'm just going on stereotypes of what wrestlers are like. Now, my background is not lucha libre. It's wrestling, as in Greco-Roman wrestling and jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing, as well as doing self-defense stuff like Krav Maga, which I at first thought was really cool, that, you know, we could probably catch knives and, you know, turn away guns and defend against bats and chairs and multiple attackers. And yeah, you can if nobody's trained. If you're a trained guy in other things like jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, then your chances are better. But wrestling was fun because you're on a trampoline. I don't know if you guys knew that. The wrestling mat, the wrestling ring is a trampoline. And so it's super tight like a drum. So when you step on it, it feels really fun to, like, you know, like bounce house fun to run, because you don't run super fast. So you're not, you know, it's not like running, so there's all this impact. You're just kind of like flowing. If you guys know how to dance, do you guys know how to dance, salsa dance or anything like that? If you could salsa dance, this is kind of weird. I don't know. Can you hear this all right? I mean, it just doesn't seem like it would be that powerful being on this side. But how's that? Is that better? All right. So if you can dance, then you might be able to box. And if you can box, then you can lose a lot of weight. Because if you don't want to go to the gym and fight, you don't go to the gym and lift weights, and you don't want to go to the gym and do cardio, then you can go do boxing. And boxing is great cardio. In fact, it might be more than you're used to. And doing this little bitty bullshit in the gym, after you go train in a boxing gym, that's a cakewalk. I can do an hour of cardio without even thinking about it. I can literally go on a 15-degree, you know, not a Stairmaster, but a treadmill, and just walk and walk and walk and walk forever. And the result is getting a chiseled face that looks younger, because when your face is fat, you look older. That's the thing I didn't understand about steroids. Steroids made your body look so amazing so quickly, and it made you feel so euphoric and good and positive and just so full of yourself. Like, so much confidence, so much, like, and even your voice. Like, I'm a tenor, I sing, I've been in the opera, I sing heavy metal, so I have a voice, but it's not a deep voice. So when I talk, it has a little bit of a, you know what I'm saying, fucking light and loafers level of fucking pitch. And I don't like it. But I can't do much about that because that's just what God gave me. However, when you take testosterone, what happens is you thicken the chords in your voice. And what I've seen is, like, it's kind of funny too, because I don't know if you guys knew this, but our what do they call rainbow people? The eligibility community. Anyway, I found out from plastic surgeons that the accent that they use is fake. Yeah, because they go in anesthesia to have surgery. When they come out, they're talking like this. They have a, you know, low voice. And then when they come to, they're like, "Oh, hi, it's me again." So it's fake, and that's for mental illness. But let's get back to this, because what'll happen is your voice will get deeper. It'll get robust. It'll sound really like almost. It'll sound at first like you got a cold, because what's happening is that all this is thickening up, and the chords in your, you're going from like a 12-string guitar to, a bass guitar, played by Gene Simmons. It looks like an axe. That's what your vocal cords turn into. And I'm a singer, so when I'm geared up, I'm jacked, and I'm a heavy metal singer. So I'm up there, and everybody in the crowd is so small and skinny and just strung out and shit. And I'm this big jack dude. So, and I always take my shirt off. But a little theater tricks is that if you're going to be on stage, you always want to use a thing called Protan. There's a couple of them that make you look really cool, make you look like a statue. Protan is the one that IFBB and WABBA, and so all of the different federations, they require you to use a certain color so that everybody's uniform on stage. So one guy's not like straight gold and one guy's bronze, and so you do look like statues, like copper statues, when you're painted up like that. And what these girls do is that you get into like one of these little booth thingies that's it's like a small tent that you can stand up in, and they have it's just a regular plug-in paint gun like this, and they plug it in and they fill it up with this Protan shit, which by the way, it's like $20 a bottle. It's used for black guys and white guys. Yeah, what would a black guy need Protan for? Bro, let me tell you a little secret about Protan. All you got to do is look at Ronnie Coleman. And you guys know who Ronnie Coleman is? Ronnie Coleman was the 8-time Mr. Olympia. Well, Ronnie Coleman was sponsored by Protan. Protan. Now, what they didn't know is that, like, all black guys need is just a little bit of baby oil and they look amazing. Wrong. Instead of using baby oil, you use Protan. And what it does, it creates a mahogany color skin. So no matter if you're lighter skin or if you're darker skin, you're going to be like a neutral mahogany color. It's going to make your veins look amazing. It's going to make you're going to look so jacked just from having this paint on you, that when the light from above hits you, all of your muscles will stick out and it'll cast shadows. So when you're posing in front of the judges, they see the shadows on your muscles and they make notes. And then you always want to check yourself up and down, left and right. You make sure your arms are tight, your abs are tight, your legs are tight, and you're always smiling fake. And you're always facing the judges like a robot, looking at them. And when they do the facing movements, you need to know them in advance. They're all in Spanish. I didn't know what the fuck they were. Every country is different as far as their no feet forward on a lat spread, for example. They want it to the side, but in Oklahoma, they wanted it to the front. So, and the thing about it is it's a trick, because when there's a line and you have to stand in the single line here. And as the judges are paying attention to the competitors, you want to watch the judges, because their eyes are going to be looking and making notes at people from one end to the other. They're going to pay attention to the biggest guys first. So you don't have a choice on where you're standing until they make the call, okay? And they call out who they want to be in the last one, which is the overall. And if you win the overall, you win the 30,000, the 50,000, the 60,000, euros or whatever it is for that particular show. So all the trickery involved in bodybuilding is probably something that some of you guys have never heard of in your life. And it's all been exposed. So I'm not saying anything new. I'm not saying anything that, Boston Lloyd didn't say, or, Rich Piana. And both of those guys, by the way, are both dead. Yes. Rich Piana, which, by the way, he was a cool guy. He was a really cool person. And because of his size and because of the fools he hung around with, he got a bad reputation, for being real ghetto. It wasn't ever actually a bad reputation. He just got a reputation because a lot of us, white guys in a bodybuilding scene or in the music scene, we grew up with black guys. So all of our friends, like, went to our wedding or for my grandma's, or my grandma's funeral, or any like serious event, your friends that you went to high school with, people that are close to you, people from the military, when you're tight with them, it's like, yo, what's up? I'm here. And it really, at that point, you kind of forget who you're supposed to identify as. Because it seems to me that in bodybuilding, in the military, and in any kind of like, groups of sorts, wrestling is one of them. I wrestle with black guys every single day. Wrestle as in like full on wrestling, back and forth. And we just play, you know what I'm saying? It's sparring. We just do it for fun. It doesn't matter if he's, that much taller than me or not. I don't care. I know how to do jiu-jitsu. And I wrestle pretty good. But I'm not doing it for the ego, so I could whip his ass, I can whip your ass. And I do it because I'm 51 years old and I can still do it. Because most people my age, dude, they look like dog shit. Do their bodies look like a big bag of water or watermelon under their stomach like this? And forget about ever going to the gym. They'll never step foot in a gym as long as they live, the rest of their life. But like I said, guys, me jumping on a ton of gear, like putting the gas pedal to the floor, would require quite a bit of materials. And there's dangers to those materials because some of those things affects your organs, affects your hair, your skin, your personality, because some bodybuilding drugs will change your personality probably permanently, because you get to a point in life where people will walk on you and dick you over and waste your time and things like that. And one of the benefits of testosterone replacement therapy is that you do not put up with any bullshit, not from anybody. And if you have the right combination, depending upon the person that you are and the personality that you have, you're probably taking one or two different types of steroids. One is an injectable and one of them is an oral, which would be a pill. And when you're getting ready for a show, there is a way of doing that, having a cycle, so to speak, that's 12 weeks long, and you want to time it perfectly with your bodybuilding show, that when the show is over, you go off the steroids and you go back to being a human being again in about a month or two. Now, if you're really, really big, I got bad news for you. That when I lost all this weight, I got real depressed. Like, it made me sad to see myself in the mirror, because being that big and being that impressive to everybody for that many years, like the prettiest girls, I only dated models. I just, you know what I'm saying? It was the purely the laziest, like coolest, lifestyle, because it's not a job. You do not get paid for this unless you're one of the lucky ones that has sponsors, protein shake companies or pre-workout companies, or, just anybody that owns something that they want you to promote. They're willing to pay you for it monthly, like you're a whore. So, or you know what I'm saying? So you're basically whoring yourself out to the supplement companies to sell whey protein. Take pictures of yourself, paint it up in the stuff I was telling you about, where you paint all your abs in, like 300. Every single muscle on your body is painted with this walnutty, golden, copper-looking paint. It's called Protan. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. You will always paint up to your neck, up to here. That means you're going to be basically in white face. Now, white guys who put Protan on their face end up in blackface. So unless your tan is on point, as in like you already have a tan, then you paint Protan, then you want to paint your face. Because if your face always matches your body, because the neck, it looks like those girls who paint their face with makeup and then down here it's like all white. You know how that looks? Yeah, I'm doing the bodybuilding classes right now. Cost is free. If you want to donate something or money or whatever, don't give me nothing. Don't send me money. Instead, go on Amazon, on eBay, on Mercado Libre, and then find some stuff that we could donate to the kids. I don't want stuff. I want stuff like gloves, like gardening gloves, so the kids don't get cuts on their hands when they're doing push-ups out here in the street. Now it sounds ghetto, and you'd think, well, why can't the parents, you know, afford a 50 peso pair of gloves, which is about $2.50? Well, one reason is because we're in a different economy. And a different economy requires sacrifices from people. Bodybuilding is a very selfish sport, meaning you eat and eat and eat and eat all day long, and you drink water all day long. You have a very boring life. If you go out to dinner, you bring cans of tuna with you, so with all your friends are ordering Chez Jean-Pierre and Chateaubriand for two. You know what I'm saying, guys? The sweet potato pie, the apple pie from Ruth's Chris that makes you want to smack your mama in the face. This is where it's at. Eating tuna out of a big can, stinky ass tuna, sitting at a fucking table in a restaurant because I can't break my diet. What? I'm sorry, I can't. Times a day? Oh, hold on. It's not leaving. It says health review. Hold up, bud. Nope. That's the opposite. Listen, when you do gear, all of the food, the protein, is sucked into your muscles. You barely eat any carbs. And the fats, every single piece of food you eat goes, you barely shit ever. I swear to you guys, I was on probably shit once a day, and I swear it smelled like chicken soup. It didn't look like chicken soup. It smelled like chicken soup. So hormones that you're taking in your body, they change the way your piss looks and smells. Just like when you're getting ready for a show that last week, all you eat is asparagus and, tilapia. So your piss smells terrible. So there's all these stupid things that a bodybuilder has to do in order to do literally less than 10 minutes on stage. Like total, if you're in different categories even. Like the first, you'll go up, if there's a call out and you survive, you come back and then they pick you. But see, the thing is that you start in the morning. See, people don't realize this. The day, like if it's a Sunday show, then you'll show up in condition, ready to go, all shaved up, ready to go painted, with your bikini on, or if it's classic physique, then you're going to have like booty shorts. Then if it's the beach body, which is shorts down to your knees for you guys who don't have legs. But that's what it is. And at the pro level, it's basically like the pro level used to be in the 80s, except now the mega monsters, the biggest guys, are in bodybuilding. And then the guys who have been mega monsters like in the late 80s would have been like the physique guys today, the classic physique. So you've got a different category. If you don't want to go balls to the wall on steroids and you just want to kind of be natural looking, then you do classic physique, but you're going to learn how to do all these poses, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to do all the movements like you know fucking Kung Fu. But you got to practice the poses perfectly, because and it's in Spanish. So it's not the normal 7 pose mandatories. You know what I'm saying? With the facing movements. You know what I mean? You're going to have to like come up with really good poses that don't show all the angles to the judges from your front, the back, the side to side. You do that anyway. But your classic poses, your physique poses where Arnold does this, where he does this with a double, you're going to have to learn to do these poses perfectly and hold them. Okay, here's my trick. All right, you want to learn how to do this. Let's say we're going to do biceps one day. You go to the gym, we do biceps. We only train for 40 minutes, period. You don't go a minute over 40 minutes. In fact, set an alarm on your phone for 40 minutes. And this is not the cardio. You do cardio in the morning, you do weights in the afternoon. Why? Because you have food in you and you have calories in you. It's very, very hard to gain muscle when it's early in the morning and your insulin levels are low. So the smartest thing to do is to do your cardio fasted in the morning when your insulin levels are low. You'll burn fit. You're going to lose weight faster than a Tijuana crack whore doing this. And I haven't even mentioned the first medicine yet, because it's quite frankly so diverse and complicated, but I can go run through it in 5 minutes. And the protocol for a grown man, and I'm going to suggest any man that is over 30, go see your doctor when he determines you have low testosterone, which you do. He's going to take and give you an injection, which would probably be about 250 milligrams of testosterone that has a half-life of about 14 days. And it'll either be cypionate or it'll be natty. And those two last about 14 to 15 days in the body. However, a bodybuilder levels are a little bit more than that. 250 is a week to 10 days for an anti-aging clinic giving a shot to an old man that's like 70 in order for him to be able to get his dick up again. Then, amateur bodybuilders do 250 milligrams on Monday and on Thursday every single week up until 10 days before the show, which you go off all the steroids. And that's not because they test you, because everybody's on steroids. Everybody in every sport is on steroids. Even the natural shows are all on steroids. The women in the bikinis are doing tren, they're doing insulin, they're doing growth hormone. Dude, they're doing SARMs, they're doing peptides. Their hair is falling out. But they're not taking bad stuff for women. The only drugs that women can take are Anavar, Primobolan, and maybe NPP at short lengths. Because the side effects that affect women make their voices change. It makes their voices deeper. I got scared once because I saw this dude and his girlfriend was real pretty. And I knew her brother, and I'm thinking, holy shit, dude, what is she on? Because I'm thinking she's starting to look like her brother. She's starting to look like her brother. And in the face, and she was hot, dude. I'm like, dude, whatever she's on, stop it now. Because if she goes any further, her voice is going to change. Her clit's going to look like your fucking pinky. You're going to question if she's a man. There's going to be people around you that'll be like, yo, is there a girl a man? Or, you know what I'm saying? Because their voice is like, because you don't know. And it's a little embarrassing if you don't know if it's a chick or a guy. Because these days you don't know. But even back in the day, the 80s, when bodybuilding women were taking shit like T-ball from the Eastern European bloc countries, testosterone, growth hormone, tons of good food and calories. Arnold Schwarzenegger's diet was basically bacon and eggs every morning and steak. And then 2 big glasses of water, something. So there's all these details that I will gladly go into probably once or twice a week so that we can start doing this together, all of us. Because I'm telling you guys is that okay, no. If she is beyond the point of no return, her voice will get deeper because, like I said, your vocal cords will thicken up. If they stop in time when the voice starts cracking, it's reversible. But if it starts cracking, and then it gets deep, and then it gets deeper, and then her singing voice is gone, then you know it's too late. The clit doesn't go back. The clit might turn into a little bitty penis, actually. And it looks like the tip of your pinky. Every girl I've gone out with for the past 10 years has had one of these, so it's not a big deal. It actually looks, basically, you know how a girl's clit is tiny and it looks like a little pea? Well, basically, it looks more like a chickpea. That's how big they get. And it doesn't like stick out like a dick. It just the bigger it gets, like it's not gonna get long like a fucking penis or anything like that. I've never seen one, but it'll definitely like take shape. So for all you guys that are concerned, the best method is to not let women do steroids at all, because the side effects for women are permanent. And even though they may be able to reverse it, things like that, it might mess them up psychologically. You see, when women get that hot, that quick, sometimes they develop borderline personality disorder. And if you don't know what that is, look that up. It's only in women, it's not in men. They will fuck the shit out of you. Usually they're hot as hell, and they deal in criminal activity. So if you see the hottest girls with the BBLs and the fake tits and all that stuff, a lot of those girls are pros, we know that. But their mentality is that of, I'm a normal lady. I just look like this. But that's beside that. But it's all enhanced any way you look at it. That's all the chicks that we would go out with. Only the hottest fire-ass girls that, you know, had all the tits and the fucking lashes and the wigs and extensions and the fake nails, the raptor claws, the big, you know what I mean? But it's part of the show. I can't read and stare at the sun at the same time. It's the Mexican sun outside, guys. Yes, okay. Let's talk about that. 2 girls I knew were on NPP. NPP is the fast version of Deca. Deca is a drug for men. Comes in the pharmacy at 50 milligrams. You really need 300 milligrams Monday and Thursday. That's a bodybuilder's dose of the shit. It makes you impotent. Now, on the other hand, if you take it with testosterone, equal or opposite, higher than doses, like I said, bodybuilder levels are going to have bodybuilder levels. Monday and Thursday injections of testosterone, it's going to be stronger than Deca. And the Deca, even though it's going to make you big as a fucking house, you're going to have all this great new strength. You know what I mean? You're going to have all this movement and mobility in your knees again, in your neck, in your back, in your elbows, in your wrists. So you're going to have all this stuff, but you also get a little bit of water retention. It also increases your RBCs, which is your blood cells. Yes, your blood pressure does increase, which is good for some older guys, which is my, wheelhouse of older guys. Guys that are older, sometimes they get low blood pressure. And that means that their testosterone sometimes is low, and it's usually low. So when they get on testosterone, now it reverses polarity. Now you're going to bring yourself from being low blood pressure, so every time you stand up and you get dizzy and you have to be on medicine for that shit, now your red blood cells are fucking rocking and rolling like, where you been, bro? I gotta, let's go, man, let's do this thing. And your body will respond to it like an old friend. Because if you have been in shape at any point in your life, your muscle memory will go back to that moment in time and focus on getting to that point. So it's easy for me to change from this to this big in very little time, even without using steroids. But now I'm 51 years old, and now everything is difficult because nothing responds the way it used to. Nothing responds the way that your first cycle of gear goes, because you get all these things called newbie gains. And you will probably put on 30 pounds of fucking muscle. And you'll go, wow. All your friends will go, what the fuck? Dude, you look amazing. And people will be astonished at the transformation in you. Fortunately or unfortunately, for me, there's been times where here in Mexico, I'll go to the pharmacy and they don't have that stuff. And I'll talk to some dude in the gym and he'll have some bootleg shit that might have, like liquid Crisco in or something. So you never, ever, ever, ever want to go to the gym and buy some fake stuff. It says like 500 milligrams a test. All lies, all bullshit. A lot of the stuff that's here in Mexico now is all fake. So I say, don't waste your money. Just go to the grocery store, get yourself a bottle of avocado oil, and then fill up a bottle and then inject yourself with that bullshit, because that'll be about the same effect as buying steroids in Mexico. Unless it's a legitimate source, which there are very few, because it's all at the pharmacy. Now, you can go to those border towns like Tijuana, and they'll have a whole billboard. And they'll say, chochos, they'll say steroids, they'll say all this stuff. And they'll give you a whole price list. right there on a billboard in the tourist zone, right there, literally a half a mile from the border. When you walk across the border, there's a whole row of pharmacies. There's a whole row of taxis. You jump in a taxi and you go, farmacia? And you're like, okay. Drive for a few minutes. You're like, okay, where's the farmacia? Be like, right here, sir. Now, back in the old days, I used to read a magazine. It was called Muscle Media 2000. And Muscle Media 2000 was like the underground magazine for steroid users. I was in the military, so I was not going to use any drugs, period. And steroids were definitely used in the military by service members. When I was in there, I just didn't know any better because I'd never done them before. So androstenedione came out, which was like the precursor to testosterone. Also in the 90s, we had creatine come out. Now, creatine is actually a over-the-counter supplement you can buy anywhere. Usually buy a kilo at a time, or you could buy a very small, little scooper thingy like that. You want to take 5 grams a day, starting in the morning, and you want to use grape juice. You want to do it after you take your morning cardio, the 40 minutes. When you get back to your place or you have it ready, take your stuff, your grape juice, very little grape juice. You don't want all that sugar, but you want enough to affect your insulin. Insulin is the key to the door that gets inside the muscle. You see, if you drank protein like mass gainers and all these weight gainer shakes, all that is are carbohydrates. And yeah, you'll get heavy, and all that excess carbs will be outside of your muscle, making you look soft. It won't go inside the muscle all the way. Creatine, what creatine does, it allows the insulin, it opens the muscle cell and it allows the creatine and water to go inside of your muscles like a water balloon. And what it does, it expands the muscle little by little every day, and you'll get stronger as a result. And if you keep working out and working out and working out, what happens is the creatine, here's your natural levels down here. Here is you with creatine. What'll happen is you'll take creatine and then you'll get muscular. Then you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. And then creatine will be kind of an afterthought after that point, because you're at a point where you're really fucking strong and you didn't need any steroids. So even just doing creatine and whey protein after you work out is enough to get big as a house. So if I could go and start getting ready for a bodybuilding show, and this would be the process that I would do. Okay, if let's say it's next year, we're gonna, let's say date of, let's say February 14th. February 14th. By then I'll probably have my teeth fixed. I won't have, I'll be like, somebody said I sound like I was drunk on a podcast because my teeth messes with my tongue and I can't even talk. So that's the after effects of, crashing and jumping a bike like an idiot. So bodybuilding show, you're gonna have to diet, you have to get ready, depending upon, and this is weird. Like if you're gonna win the overall, you're gonna have to train for an entire year. Creatine is safe. Yeah, you can give it to your mother and father. I think that you could go and check out the benefits that creatine has for not just reversing the effects of Lyme disease. Lyme disease affects older people like they have dementia. And a Lyme disease medication will get rid of all parasites in a person's body, and it'll give them their brain back. But they got to recover from that, so they got to do nootropics. But creatine is a nootropic drug. Very, very, very powerful. And it's also good for men that are older, because your dad and your grandpa could go to the gym and live 10 years longer just by going to the gym and working out. Because like I described to you guys yesterday, you've got 2 fat people here. One does not go to the gym. The other one does. 18 minutes a day, every day. This one is going to live 10 years longer than this other identical unit. So keep that in mind. This goes for smokers. This goes for old people. This goes for people who are lethargic. All of the sickness in the world can be reversed with exercise and diet. We've been lied to by the pharmaceutical agencies, and here we are talking about some of the breakthroughs of the old world. You see, the medicine that we have today is not the same as the medicine that we had in the past. The medicine we had in the past in the 1950s and 60s was formulated in the last civilization, before petroleum became a part of our life. We had holistic medicine that actually worked. And I would never say that, guys. When I was on gear before, you know what I mean? I was working on my body, wasn't working on my brain, was literally losing my mind. Every chick that I went out with cheated. Every chick I went out with was untrustworthy. So you're asking yourself, is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Do you know what it feels like to go from zero out of shape guy to being an in shape guy and seeing people, they're not going to, cheer you on at all. In fact, they're going to wait at the finish line and wait for the fucking winners and hope that you fall down just as you're about to finish cross the line and win first, and you end up getting third. And they want you to lose. So I say this is really an introvert's game that you got to have a couple of things for. You got to have personality in order to get chicks. You also got to have personality when you're dealing with judges. The judges are the ones in the bodybuilding show that sit in the front row. And you need to convince them that you like them so that they'll like you. So you match energies with these people. And you want to really push hard. 15 minutes every single day. You're going to do your 7 compulsory poses. Every single day, you're going to do your poses. And you're going to hold them as hard as you can for 15 seconds. And then you're going to relax. And then you're going to turn. You do another pose. And you do another pose. And you do another pose. Do all the poses. Practice the relaxed pose, which is like, riding one of those low rider bicycles. You have your hands out front. Your lats are flexed. Your legs are flexed. Your abs are flexed. You have a smiley face. You're looking at them like you really like them. Bodybuilding is a weird game, you guys. It's a dirty game. There's nothing healthy about bodybuilding at all. It did do some reversing of it did reverse my aging a lot. Like I would have probably, physically, I would have lost, if I had never worked out my life, probably been through what I've been through already, been dead already. Definitely been dead already. But I reversed my diet. I reversed the supplements I was taking. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my TRT at the time. Then I got into veterinary medicine, which was probably the biggest error of my entire career. And it led to me doing some dumb things, saying some dumb things, acting out in bodybuilding shows in public because I thought it was so special and so unique. And so for my 3rd time at the Olympia in Medellin, Colombia, for the very first Olympia in Medellin, I'm ready to go. And as I'm walking into the event, I have my bags, I got my wifey poo with me, and she's like, the lady at the front, she's like, oh no, she can't come in. I go, well, she's got to paint me, girl. No, she can't come in. I was like, fine, fuck this cons. Well, I got stopped by one of the judges, like, what's going on, man? I was like, this girl's being a bitch, she won't let my girl in, all this stuff. Well, look, I'll let her in. But listen, man, that's not good for you to talk that way. Because in Colombia, we're not rude to people in public. It's not nice. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm so sorry. He let me go into the backstage with my wife, warm up. She painted me. I learned some techniques, breathing techniques from other coaches. She learned some things, too. And when she was in the audience and I was like this and I would lose my abs, she would go... Because you're supposed to blow all your air out of your abs. So she was in the front row. She's like, telling me to blow my air out because my abs were not tight. And so we were a great team. We were a wonderful team. But steroids did a number on that relationship. The veterinary steroids that I got was Trenbolone. It was made from implants that you buy in the veterinary thing. They were legal. You grind them up, filter them, put them in some stuff, and then inject them. And what happens is your body transforms into the altered beast from hell. bigger, shredded. You've never been so shredded and strong in your fucking life. It's some ridiculous, like 20 times, it's 5 times as powerful as testosterone. So there's a number of like huge benefits. The downside is it makes you fucking paranoid. It makes you crazy. It makes you jealous. Like if you're already a jealous guy, oh boy, you might just make it onto cops. Because trenbolone is made for, check this out guys, calves prior to castration. These calves gain 100 kilograms in a month using these implants that people break down, put into an oil substance, and then inject this shit. But they don't tell you is that when you inject it, you have a cough that almost puts you in the fucking hospital. It is so hard and so harsh because it's not made for people. It's made for animals and an implant behind their ear so that they can get bigger, and not have any fat. It doesn't have water retention. It doesn't convert to estrogen. It makes you big as a house. It's not expensive. It's made in a bathtub, some asshole's garbage can. You know what I'm saying? But the stuff is undeniably the stuff that the pros use in excess. And it lasts either a very short time with the trinacetate or the long version, which is trenanate, which lasts like 2 weeks. So if you go crazy on tren, you have to wait 2 long weeks for it to get out of your system before you stop being crazy. When you get off of steroids, and by the way, there was a lot of other veterinary drugs that are over the counter in all these other countries in the world, except for the United States, because everything's illegal there. And you can get your testosterone, you can get your equipoise, which is made for horses, the ones that run fast. You get your Winstrol, which I believe Jesse Owens used in the Olympics. And then you got, well, I don't remember. I don't know the story. I don't remember who it was. But he got caught with Winstrol in the Olympics. Let's see, the Eastern Europeans used T-ball or Turnaball. The women used it. That's why they looked like men. They had the moon face. That was from Turnaball. They gave men steroids, and it basically turned them into like teenager boys. And they were winning all the gold medals. So this is all of Eastern Europe, run by the Russians during the Cold War. All of the gold medals were won by using steroids. So the Olympic team for the Americans was like, whoa, what are you guys on? What are you guys taking? They were very candid about it. Okay, well, we have this doctor, and he gives us these little pink pills that have this little, stop sign shape. And so he gives us those, and they didn't even know they were doping. A lot of times they would just say these are vitamins. Yeah. There's a lot of them that are safe. Okay, if you abuse anything, it's not good. But at the same time, a lot of these steroids don't work unless you abuse them. It's the truth. Deca, for example, comes in 50 milligram ampules here in the pharmacy. But the dose for Deca during the week is 300 milligrams. How many vials is that? That's 6. And those are expensive. That's why people buy the bootleg stuff, or they go to a TRT clinic, and that's what they get their Deca, because it's legal and it still is a very much, Eli Lilly product. It's still available over the counter. And you'll go to a TRT clinic and he'll give you a big ass 10 ml vial. It'll probably cost you $100 or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the States cost nowadays. I don't know. But I would highly recommend that if this is what you're going to do, consider that you're going to weigh the consequences, because you're a lifer. If you do steroids and compete, you're going to be a lifer. If you're only doing steroids to take pictures, it's going to be cyclical. Learn how to do the cycle, so when you come off, you'll end up like me, who was driving down the highway. Where was I? I think I was on I-95. That's where I was. I was on I-95 driving an Audi. Thank you very much. Driving an Audi. And there was this dude named John. He was driving a BMW. He was a bodybuilder too. We were all on steroids. At the time, I was coming off steroids, but I didn't know much about the detox method, where your balls go back into production of testosterone safely, but you got to take these fertility drugs, and what they don't tell you is the side effects are a motherfucker. And when I say a motherfucker, I'm driving down I-95, just cruising along, and I'm listening to Dear Mama by Tupac Shakur, and all of a sudden I start fucking sobbing like a bitch. Like, ooh, my mama died, she was a fucking alcoholic. Ooh. Driving down I-95 crying. Now remember something, guys. You know, I'm a 235-pound motherfucker like this, crying like a bitch. Ooh, driving down I-95 because the steroids wore off. Wait a minute, guys. What's it, Minnie? You gonna get somebody's ass? Well, let's go get him. Really? All right, guys, check it out. Hang tight. What's the story? You see something? Oh. There's a dog down there. His name is Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Mickey. Mickey, look up here. He didn't like me at all. This little motherfucker got his head stuck under the railing, under the fence, 3 times. And every single time he's tried to bite me. Every time he tried to bite me. Right over here, chicken bus all day long. Just installed the front, but I need the bumper fixed. You guys saw that, right? There's the front. It looks like it's bashed in because it's curved out. It's curved out like that. What do you guys think? Looks good? Bicycle. Made this bicycle. You guys saw that? With the kids. Why bother? Because I have armed guard. This is actually my studio, podcast studio. Great studio. Too hot. But it's too hot, baby. Gotta run for shelter, gotta run for shade. Okay, guys. If you have any questions about bodybuilding, apparently this is my wheelhouse. Nutrition. If you want to do like the 30 days of discipline with me, it's a program. It costs nothing. I don't want money, you guys. You got to remember, I'm actually annoyed by some of you guys right now that keep talking about money insistently. And I want you to stop trying to do this because, yeah, it's okay to flex every once in a while. But listen, money and envy of people's possessions, it's not fly anymore. Like, it's not fly to fuck with people because they don't have money. I don't think it's ever been, but I think it's necessary that we put the brakes on allowing people to walk all over men and being rude to men because they don't have things that our society has somehow coined that's necessary to be valuable to society. And I've taken the opposite approach. I've been a philanthropist for friggin' 20 years now almost. And I find that the best thing that I can do for people is teach them to fish. Teach them a trade, teach them how to do something. And if bodybuilding's that way, then great. The other thing is I mentor a lot of kids that are, here in the park. And they're all like potheads and, they're drinking the big old Coronas on the weekends and stuff like that. And I go over and I talk with them. And I do not talk to them about recovery. I'm not there to preach. And if they have a problem, they come to me. And the problem is that a lot of times they come too late, when they're in jail. So if you want to know more about the supplements and the medicines and, the names of stuff, because it's hard to know what's what. And it's hard to know what's real because you get all excited and be like, ooh, look at this. I just found this ad for this called Diana Turnaball. And it's got some Diana bunk. It's all like almost sounding just like the real thing, but it's fake. If it's advertised commercially, it's just a bunch of bullshit. It is almost always 199% fake. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I kind of went in deep on the stuff that I used to do. Now, if I do decide to compete again, I'm going to use two things. I'm going to use a thing called SARMs. SARMs are a selective androgen modular receptor. And what it does is has similar effects to steroids, but it doesn't have the side effects steroids has, like losing hair and getting acne and stuff like that. But it's not as powerful, and it doesn't, you have to take it for a long time, and it works good, but it's expensive. That's the thing. It's like, you're not going to use cheap steroids, and you got to use expensive whatever. So anyway, I hope that the other thing that I'm going to use is test, but I'm not going to use the long ester test. I'm going to use the one that lasts for just a few hours and it goes out of my system. So this way I don't get caught up in kind of, because you guys know that a lot of people try and provoke you here. Like here in Mexico, people will literally try you. And it's not because they can fight, but they kind of have no filter. And if this is a simulation, great. I'm down with that. I'm taking creatine, probably the best supplement ever made that actually does work and volumize your muscles without any side effects and has no taste. Don't buy the flavored kind. Just buy the old school creatine monohydrate powder that does not dissolve in water. You want to put it in grape juice. You want to take a teaspoon a day for about 2 weeks, and then you want to increase it to 2. And then you'll volumize in no time. And in 10 weeks, you'll be 10 pounds heavier with muscle. And that's without steroids. Oh my God. But you got to push yourself to fucking failure on those exercises. I'm going to do it, and it's going to be at 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm going to do a documentary on the whole damn thing. And I want you to watch it. I want you to watch it because I have children that fucking hate my guts. They fucking hate my guts because of what steroids did to my brains and the way I behave with their mother. So there's no question about it that steroids can be beneficial, but there's definitely a downside and a dark side to them that I wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. I had paranoia so bad that I thought, I used to go to this restaurant in Medellin, Colombia with my wife, and she would go to the bathroom, and like I would see like a busboy or something or a waiter go that way, and I'm paranoid that he's gonna go in the bathroom and try and fuck her. And what's worse is that she's gonna let him do it. That's how fucked up your brain gets on Trenbolone or any veterinary steroid. For me personally, some of you guys are lucky or you're savants in every damn thing you do, but hey, I'm a bad alcoholic because I can't metabolize the fucking alcohol. Some of you guys are autistic because you can't metabolize folic acid. Some of you guys don't even produce enough testosterone that, 100 years ago, a 70-year-old man would have had. So if you go to a doctor, you'll get the facts. You'll feel better. You get out of the depression hole you're in, and you might get jacked. You might do something with yourself. Find a fucking fine-ass woman that's good for you. So I'm going to go eat, guys. You got to eat every 3 hours. You don't have to eat a lot, but I got a sweet potato, I got a chicken breast, I got 3 pieces of broccoli, and I'm ready to rock. My name is Brofessor, man. I hope you like this because I'm out.